Welcome to Retail's Most Wanted, the podcast that examines the latest issues related to organized retail crime and how retailers and policymakers are fighting back against today's organized crime syndicates. I'm your host, Marty Carpenter. Joining us today for an insightful discussion is Malachi Smith and Orlando Torres, both from Heritage Grocers Group. They share their expertise in combating organized retail crime, and together they'll discuss their collaborative approach to protecting assets and creating safer retail environments. That's all coming up next, but first, this word from our sponsor. Retail's Most Wanted is brought to you in partnership with LVT, securing physical environments through intelligent automation. Learn more at lvt.com. That's lvt.com. Let's start here. Tell me a little bit about Heritage Grocers Group and your roles individually within that organization.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Heritage Grocers Group is consisted of 3 different banners, 65 stores in Cardenas It's called Cardenas Markets. Those stores are out of some stores in NorCal, SoCal, 5 stores in Las Vegas, and then a couple more stores in Arizona as well. And then he also covers El Rancho, and he has how many stores?
29 stores in the Texas area.
Yeah, and then Tony's Fresh Markets is 21 stores out of Illinois.
Okay, so kind of in pockets around the western to midwestern part of the country.
Yes.
That's good information for us. I'm wondering, how does organized retail crime play in for you guys? Like, do you see a big problem with this, or is it sort of you're on the outskirts of where that's most impactful?
Yeah, and like the thing is for us, we're really fortunate that we don't really get a lot of organized retail crime. It's more like the regular people like us who are going inside the stores, filling up baskets, and they take that opportunity because our stores are so big. They go to the other side. Hey, all the cashiers are looking this way. We're gonna come out the other exit, and then they'll leave. If they're getting watched and you just ask for a receipt, they'll leave everything. They'll leave. You know, so we're really fortunate, at least in our banner, where we don't have all of those challenges.
Yeah. Malachi, tell me about how, as a group, you guys work with law enforcement and what kind of partnership you have to have there to protect the assets in your stores and protect your customers.
Well, in Texas, we all try to be a part of organizations like Texas Organized Crime Association. I work with all my law enforcement partners one-on-one. Every agency that we have a store in, we go there and we just talk with them and just say, hey, who are you? What is your role in your department? And figure out how we can bridge that connection or relationship so that way we can share information. And I do this one-on-one. I'm pretty sure they do as well, but I'm real big on wanting to go out and find the person and talk to them. So that's the way we work it out there.
Yeah. Tell me about how you work with law enforcement, because whether ORC is a big problem for your organization or not so much of a problem for your organization, you still have assets you've got to protect. And like I said, customers you've got to protect. How do you work on building the right relationship with law enforcement so that you can share the information they need to help keep those groups safe?
Yeah, for us in California, it's we don't have just one police department. In pretty much every single city, we have to be dealing with different law enforcement. One of our stores in Oakland is our toughest area, and where we don't have the best support with law enforcement. So what we do there is we kind of go to a lot of the ORC meetings that they have, and try to partner, because there's some detectives that go out there, there's some sheriffs, some deputies that go out there, and I try to get the contact information, let them know where we struggle, how we can also help out them when it comes to cases. So when it comes for them, let us know, hey, we have an incident happening in the store. I try to be like this right away, so I can kind of have that connection with them and try to support them on their cases, and also be able to, as we need them to reach out to them for any type of a case building we need to do that happen inside our store. So it's collaborating with them at these meetings. And if our city doesn't offer that, because not all cities offer that in California, we try to go to the station itself and see if they have any type of like coffee with the cops, have a conversation with them, so we can kind of have a partnership with them.
Yeah, those relationships with law enforcement are really important. But what we hear from almost anyone who's been on this podcast is that the technology is not only essential, critical to what they're doing, but that it just continues to evolve and get better and better. I wonder if you could, maybe Malachi, you could give us an idea of like, how do you guys use technology to protect your facilities and the people who come there to shop?
It's layered, definitely layered. by using or leveraging companies like LVT, having a trailer in the parking lot, Aura for our case management we have, and the camera systems that we have inside the stores, just having multiple layers to be able to capture things that happen and then turning it over to our law enforcement partners. The ease of use has been a big thing for us because we spend a lot of time working on building cases, and those technologies speed up that process and allow us to give it to law enforcement much quicker, especially Aura. That has helped out tremendously with working. As the point where you can tag in a detective in that community and he can go in and pull that information out is epic. And they can follow the case even if we add to it. It's just changed the game. So.
Orlando, how do you balance the security measures that you put in place, whether that's technology or anything else, with not wanting to throw off the customer experience? How do you strike that balance?
I think the biggest thing is just educating and getting everybody on board. It's always a battle, especially in our industry. We have a lot of Spanish speakers. You know, a lot of customers and team members are not exposed to this technology at all. So to show them, hey, we're going to be adding, for example, this trailer, or we're going to add more these cameras to our stores, we have to kind of explain them in different ways so they can understand how it can better them. Like it can better their hours, it can better the labor, or it can better even the customer experience, where we have customers, come in one way inside the store, where we can boost sales from one side of the store, where we can have more displays on one side, and then obviously having one traffic up coming out to the store. So that's kind of pitting in a way where we're going to avoid having accidents from team members or customers coming in one direction. We're going to have just one way flow. That also helps us with physical security to kind of have gates in place that way people don't run out with carts and all that merchandise. So it's more education part, and also letting them know, hey, how can impact them by labor and sales.
You guys are in California, Nevada, Texas, Illinois. Do you treat it like this, where you have one like overarching security strategy, and then you tailor it to each of those different types of stores and different types of neighborhoods they may be in? Is that how you go about that? Has that worked out well for you?
Yeah, it's really worked out for us. Because like I said, not all of our stores have, the physical security like that I talked about right now, is having those gates. Not all the stores have locking cabinets, so some stores are in nicer areas, some stores are in harsher areas. So we kind of based out of the crime around the area, and also partnering with other retailers around us to kind of see what they're doing to kind of mimic the same thing we're doing, so we can prepare us for any type of physical security we need to have.
I think that heritage also is we're learning, when you take on more banners in different regions, and the areas are different, the laws are different, stuff like that. You want to implement the strategy that you have in the other locations, but when you get down to the actual banner, you start realizing there is a lot of little nuances that are different and just doesn't fit very well into the big picture. So there are some changes. There are things that I can do in Texas that they can't do in California, so there's some minor adjustments in that, and we're learning, but the amount of knowledge, or the amount of knowledge that we got out of this has been it's been big.
Yeah. I want to wrap up with this question, if I could. What emerging trends are you seeing when it comes to whether it's organized retail crime or just theft issues that you have within your facilities? What are you most concerned about right now, and what do you think is on the horizon to best address that, or what's sort of out there where you're saying this isn't necessarily the biggest problem now, but it's going to be in 2 years?
Yeah, so it's kind of a loaded question, but
without giving away your secret strategies,
of course. Yeah, so we're adding all these physical security to our stores, whether it's like LBT cameras, better camera systems, and all that. So now we were seeing all the thefts come out in front of our stores. Now we're starting to say, okay, now the dishonest customers now are figuring ways, hey, if they're limiting us to exit outside of a store because they're adding these gates to our store, and they have trailers now they're starting to exit an emergency exits. Now they're walking around that store at nighttime when it's not as busy. They'll be saying, hey, this is my point exit right here at back of the store, and then I want to see how the back of the store is as well, so I can drive a car. So now we're seeing cars going back of our stores now. Now we're seeing people leave through the emergency exit. So now we're starting to see a trend where now they're trying to figure out the system. Now, in a perfect world, obviously, we need fire, we need the fire department, but we also need to kind of see if there's a way we can have time delayed exits where it delays somebody when they push it out, and they kind of get stuck. Oh my God, the emergency exit is locked. So I'm hoping maybe later down the future, if we're able to have something like that, because now everybody is getting kind of a little bit more smarter to see how they can still merchandise at our stores.
Malachi, you want to weigh in on that one?
I think it does look like some of the crimes that are happening in different parts of the country are starting to trickle off into Texas, especially we just dealt with a lot of the smash and grab robberies, and we're trying to do our best to prevent that from happening, and we're seeing that it's just kind of sweeping through. It's becoming this trend. But I think for me, what worries me the most is we've always dealt with the homeless coming off the street and stealing food or stealing laundry detergent or stuff like that. It's the normal everyday kind of thing that happens, but we're not used to having the financial crimes happen where people are coming in and using skimmers to take all the data and stuff like that. And we do our best to protect, but that's hitting a lot of people in one lick. You know, we want to protect the customer as best as we can, but we never know these things are coming. We don't know when they're going to happen. There's not really a trend you can follow to kind of track it. It's all random people. They're using covert measures to do. I mean, it's just, I think that's, for me, technology is going to take over crime more so, and we're going to have to fight it with more technology. So I think that the future of that is coming, and it's going to start affecting just even the normal day-to-day people like us in grocery stores.
That's it for this episode of Retail's Most Wanted. Thanks to our presenting sponsor, as always, that's LVT. Don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button so you can catch each new episode. We drop a new one every 2 weeks. You can also follow us on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks for being with us, everyone, and keep up the good fight.